So there's a couple things I'd like to cover and get into community, but really I want to get you guys playing. So from a high level, a big part of the innovation that's come into Forza Motorsport 4 has not only come through Connect, it's also come through partnerships and humbleness, humility, knowing that there are great partners that could make our game better in ways that no other gaming developer could. So, for our new lighting engine, for example, this car looks pretty good. The reason it looks so great is because of the new lighting engine. We hired guys from Pixar, consultants from Hollywood, to help us come up with a new lighting engine. It's called IBL, image-based lighting. And it's what you see in movies like Avatar, as well as things like Toy Story 3. And what it means is the car is lit by the environment itself, so it inherits all that complex bounce lighting. Forza 3, and pretty much all other racing and other video game engines you play, they actually have a lighting object, a model for the object, like the car, the character, and then they have a lighting model for the environment. And we have to tune them in the racing and gaming industry and make them look right. Now, it just looks right all the time. And that allows us to drive a track, create a track like the Swiss Alps, with incredible contrast between the snow and the rocks, and it just looks great. Now, we've done innovation in the physics as well. Now, we've done some of the stuff just because we're kind of perfectionists. We ripped a bunch of cars apart to study how their multi-link suspension was working, just because we thought we could do it better, and mostly because it's fun to tear cars apart, measure them, and look at them. So we made that better, we made some other systems better, but the big innovation came through a partnership with Pirelli. We threw all of our old tire data away, and tires have always been a focus of Forza Motorsport, but we figured there was a better approach. So we asked Pirelli to do custom tests, and they tested hundreds of tires across hundreds of conditions. Different compounds, different widths, tire sidewalls, stiffnesses and heights. They did different interior pressures, different heats, different attack angles. And we got reams and reams of data. Now what we did by throwing our data away, we changed our system so we could take the data from Pirelli and import it directly in the game without touching it at all. Now what that approach means is when you're driving the cars in Forza Motorsport 4, you are driving the most up-to-date simulation available today. This is the same approach that Ferrari and McLaren use for training their pilots. They work with a partner to get proprietary data that isn't available for anybody else, and they integrate that into the simulation in the same way. And it's that attention to detail and also that hunger to never be right. We have a hunger to just be better, get better, get better, get better, get better every version. That means we're on the cutting edge of physics. Now we've had AI improvements, there are improvements across the boards, but I want to move on a bit. Let's talk about community. In Forza Motorsport, community's always been a big deal. We have painting, we've got the storefront, the auction house. We've got people in our community that all they do is paint. And they're some of the wealthiest people in our community because the drivers, the engines that create the money in the economy pay top dollar for these great artistic works. And so that's what I mean when I say it's all about cars. Because you don't have to be a driver. You can be a painter, you can be a tuner, you can be a social coordinator to bring people together and get passionate around cars. Now we have new features. We have 16-player multiplayer. And that's great for the hardcore drivers, but if you're like most drivers, it means instead of coming in 7th place, you're now going to come in 15th place. That kind of sucks. So we have new modes, such as Top Gear Football. Top Gear Football works how you might think. There's a big football in the middle of the pitch. We've got goals on either side, and you use the cars to score. Now in the show, they use Foxes and Igos, little city cars that can smash up. But when we play at work, we play position football. So in defense, we put big SUVs like Q7s and X5s, Touaregs. In the midfield, we use STIs, we use Evos, and in the front line, we use supercars and hypercars like Ferraris, Lotus, Maserati. Now also at work, we're in a car club. Now car clubs work like a clan in a first-person shooter. I can start one, I'll be the president, you can be the vice president, we can all get in a club together. But where clubs get much more cool is with what Forza does so well, Forza's DNA. That is car collecting and customization. So, we have collective buying power. I can buy the 458, you can buy the Bugatti Veyron, and I don't have to buy the Veyron because I can drive yours, whether you're online or not. And you guys can all drive my 458. So we have a giant shared garage that we can share things around. But if you've got a great painter in your club, he or she can paint all of the jerseys on your cars that you go play Top Gear Football in. If you've got a great tuner in your club, he or she is going to make all the drivers faster. because they can really bring the most out of the car. And that's how the car club brings communities together. You know, we have a new rivals mode, we have tons of new features throughout the game. But the real secret about Forza Motorsport's community, the reason that it's so popular, and we have, again, we're 2 years after Forza Motorsport 3, and we still have hundreds of thousands of players still playing faithfully. And big games come out, like a Red Dead Redemption, and we'll see our numbers dip down, and then 3 weeks later, they return to the exact same place. Because we're the game people return to. And the secret is, 50% of the players aren't racing. They're doing cat and mouse. They're doing capture the flag. They're doing keep the it. And they're going to be playing games like Top Gear Football. Now, they're not on the forums. They're not the angry few that are talking about simulation. They love cars. And they found a home for their car passion. And that's the secret of Forza's success. It's a great racing game, sure. But it's so much more because it's a great car game. So, in summary, play how you want. Play with a controller, play with a wheel. Play the cars you want. Paint, race. Play it however you want. Hopefully the game is going to fit you like a glove no matter who you are, whether you're a car lover that doesn't know about games, or a gamer that doesn't know about cars, or if you're a core gamer that knows about games and cars. The game feels like it was made for you. More than anything, I really want you guys to go play it, because it's a lot of fun, there's a lot of places to explore, there's a lot of people here, and even though we have a lot of kiosks, I'd like to get you all in there experiencing the game. So I think we're going to do some quick questions, but for the most part, thank you very much for coming.
Merci. Je vais prendre pour moi, c'est gentil. Quelques questions donc. Ah, super.
Je parle en français, c'est plus simple.
Vas-y.
Donc moi je voudrais savoir, dans les différents modes de jeu, est-ce qu'il y aura un mode arcade, un mode simulation, ou le type de gameplay, il est plutôt entre les deux, enfin il y a différents modes ou pas? Parce que pour le moment, Forza, ça a toujours été plus simulation, à mon goût, mais bon, voilà.
Okay, the question is, Forza has always been more maybe simulation than other, that's a perception for this journalist, more simulation than than a casual game, than a casual racing game, I would say. What's the difference with Forza 4?
Well, again, some of the secret of Forza Motorsport 4 is that we have a huge casual gaming community that are playing it all the time. For me, it's about being clever with design, that we don't have to sacrifice simulation in order to make fun gameplay. And the reason for that is, I think honestly, there's an outdated, antiquated view that you're either one type or the other type. But I think that's just poor design. What we've designed is a game that at its heart is very, very accurate simulation, but then we add assists that make it easier. But easy doesn't make it fun. What makes it fun is a variety of modes, like Top Gear Bowling in the single player. We have passing car challenges. We have a variety of cars, and it's a sandbox where you can experiment with those cars. And I think that's why we actually do have tons of kids playing the game. We have people thinking about it in other ways. Now, I do believe when people enter the game and all they do is they think it's a simulator, so they go into the game and they turn all the assists off and they get into a Ferrari and they crash. Well, yes, because they turned all the assists off. But if you go through the career, play the World Tour, it's going to guide you like a yellow brick road in Wizard of Oz. It's going to guide you to Oz. It's going to find you the fun. And it's going to ease you into the challenge and give you a variety of new things to do that hopefully get you thinking about cars and having fun in a new way.
Thank you.
Super.
Dans le jeu en ligne, ceux qui mettaient de l'assistance croisaient généralement ceux qui n'en mettaient pas. Et parfois, il y avait des désavantages ou, on peut dire, des inconvénients, ça dépendait. Et je voulais savoir si effectivement, dans ce Forza 4, c'était aussi la même chose ou pas.
When people were playing online, some were competing with assists, some without. Will it be the same in Forza 4?
Absolutely. So the thing is, the assists actually make you slower, but they make you more consistent. And some players are so inconsistent that by being slower with the assists, their overall race time increases. But actually, if you look at the leaderboards, those guys turn the assists off because the assists slow you down. The traction control robs you of power down the straightaway because it's keeping the tire spinning at a suboptimal speed. The STM, the braking, actually all of the assists actually make you slower if you're a consistent driver. So yes, we allow it online because fast drivers are faster, and slow drivers are now able to compete with them almost because they're consistent, but they're still not faster.
Une autre question? Et ce sera la dernière, à moins qu'il y en ait vraiment une autre super urgente, mais je vais vous inviter quand même à aller jouer. Vas-y.
Bonjour.
Vas-y.
C'est pour concrètement pour savoir un petit peu par rapport à tout ce qui est gestion des dégâts. On roule à 300, on se prend un mur en pleine face. Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
What happens when you race at 300 km per hour and you crash in front of a wall? What happens?
If you're in simulation damage mode, the car is disabled. And in fact, the car will roll over a lot of times. And in Forza 3, you could roll it back over, but if you're in simulation damage mode, it won't roll back over, your race is over. As far as killing the driver, starting a fire, exploding the car, that's really not what simulation racing is about. That would be a crash test dummy simulator. So we focused all of our damage, the visual damage that you see when cars rub, on racing. Now in racing, cars hit and they damage each other, and we do as well. We've revamped our damage system visually so that you get more localized damage and a lot more crumbling on the car. But we've not optimized it towards 300 kilometers per hour because that's really a crash test dummy game.